Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a video on the Lowsey channel, and today we are back with Premier League predictions for game week number 1. Now this is the third year of doing it on the channel. 2 years, we haven't made it throughout the whole season, so let's try and make the whole season, Kieran, come on. So for the first game week, we're going to do every single game. Now, I think there's going to be some weeks where I'm not going to pick every game. No, when it comes to the midweek games and the teams are missing games because of Europe and things like that, I'm just going to do select games. But for the first game week, we're going to do the first 10 Premier League games. So, point system. Now, how we're going to do the point system. So, if I get, so to say I said Liverpool are going to win 2-0, but Liverpool win 3-0, 3-1, whatever, I get 1 point. If I get the exact score correct, then I get 3 points. Every prediction I get wrong, the viewers get 2 points. So let's see how I can do, and hopefully I can have a better year than last year, because last year was pretty stinky, but the year before was quite decent. So, we're starting off with the first game of the season, Friday night football. So you're going to be seeing this tomorrow. So, well, tomorrow when I'm recording, Friday the 15th. But in the morning, so you know I'm not cheating. But at Liverpool vs Bournemouth, I have put Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 1. I was so tempted to put a draw, and I don't know why, but then I just think Liverpool, too much quality, they'll shine through. 3-1 Liverpool. Now moving on to the 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday, it's Aston Villa versus my club, Newcastle United. Tough game for Newcastle. Also a tough game for Villa, but Villa Park is going to be absolutely buzzing. And Newcastle just have to at least make the first 20 minutes. And then we're going to have to go from there. Of course, we're going to have none of the rat Isaac. That's not going to happen. That's fine. So probably going to be starting the season with Gordon up front. I assume we're going to have a Langer playing on the right. Going to counter-attack Villa. But I've put a 1-1 draw to kick off the campaign for Newcastle versus Aston Villa. You've got to always back your team. I'm never going to put what to lose. Now, moving on to the third game, which is Brighton versus Fulham at the Amex. Fulham haven't done business at all. Bit disappointed with Fulham, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to have signed a few players at least. Especially by now. They could still, obviously. But Brighton made some signings. Good manager, good team. 2-0 to Brighton. Fourth game now, it's my rival Sunderland at home at the Stadium of Light versus West Ham. Now, I'm actually going for a shock here. I've put Sunderland 3, West Ham 1. I just think Sunderland's first game back in the Premier League after, what, 8 years, 9 years or something like that? I think it's 8. I've got a feeling that Sunderland will win the first game. I don't think Sunderland will stay up. In fact, let's not give you any spoilers. If you click the little I button up there somewhere, you'll get a link to my Premier League predictions video, but I don't think Sunderland will stay up, but I do think they'll beat West Ham first game this season. A lot of signings, there'll be a buzz around the club, there'll be hype. I think West Ham would have to get through the first half an hour without Sunderland scoring for them to win the game, but I think Sunderland will score early. I think they'll score a couple early as well, so I'm going to say 3-1 to the Macgums. Now, moving on to Spurs versus Burnley. Spurs, of course, losing the Super Cup to PSG midweek on penalties after being 2-0 up. Burnley's first came back. It is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Burnley a very solid defensive team, but I just can't see Burnley doing well at all this year. I've got Spurs to win that game 2-0. I think Spurs too much quality. I think Frank will have what it takes to beat Burnley, and I expect Tottenham Hotspur to win. Don't even think Burnley will score a goal. I just don't think they've got great attacking options. I just think Spurs will be too solid defensively for them, especially going forward. A lot of new Kudus, Solanke, Tell, Brennan Johnson. They've got a lot of players, Spurs, that can hurt Burnley. Now moving on to the next game, we've got Wolves versus Manchester City. I'm actually going with a tight game. I think Wolves are going to take the lead. I think Wolves will go 1-0 up, but I think Manchester City will win 2-1. I expect City to start the season with a win. I think Pep will have them ruthless from the start. I think, as I said, I think they'll concede early, but I think they'll turn it around in the second half and they'll win 2-1. Now moving on to Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Now, I've went Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 2. I was really impressed with Crystal Palace in the Community Shield against Liverpool. Obviously, Community Shields are a glorified friendly charity cup. totally different to the Premier League. Chelsea are going to be buzzing at Stamford Bridge for the new season. They'll have ambitions of probably wanting a challenge for the league, but definitely getting Champions League secured. Great players, but I'm taking the risk. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Now, Forest versus Brentford. Forest will be absolutely, again, ecstatic. The ground will be bouncing. But I'm going for Keith Andrews' mighty Brentford to win 2-1. Now, Forest fans aren't going to be happy with that. But I've just got a feeling that Brentford are going to pull a shock result. I really do. I think there's been a lot of negative energy around Brentford from a lot of people predicting them to go down. But I still think they've got a solid team. I think Keith Andrews could do a good job. I don't know if he will, but he could. But I'm going to say he's going to get a win in charge. Again, his first Premier League game in charge. I think he's going to get a 2-1 win. Now, moving on to Manchester United versus Arsenal. Now, I believe this game's on the Sunday, isn't it? I'm going for a shock again. I've went for Man United to win 2-1. Just got a feeling, I don't know why. I'm probably going to regret this one because I probably think Arsenal are going to win now, but I ain't going to change it. I'm going to say 2-1 Manchester United. I'm going to say Cunha and Sesko off the bench to score because I don't think Sesko will start. I've just got a feeling Man U could do it, but again, probably starting to change my mind now. And this is probably why I go so far behind very early on. But yeah, I think I put my predictions. I'm going to give you a spoiler here. I put Man United to finish 8th. But Man United always turn up for the big games. And of course, Arsenal is a big game. They always seem to churn out amazing performances against the top teams, but not the teams that aren't top teams. So yeah, I've got 2-1 Man United. I appreciate this video is very quick, guys. I just thought the first one was rattle it off, get it done, because I'm excited. And the last one's Monday Night Football. It's Leeds versus Everton at Ellen Road. Now, Ellen Road will be excited to have Premier League football back, but I do expect Everton to beat them 2-1. Great signings have been made from Everton this transfer window. The likes of Jack Grealish, Tieno Barry, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, solid defence under Moyes. I think Leeds will have most of the ball. I think Leeds will dominate the game, but I just think Everton will have enough quality to beat them. Charlie Alcaraz, I think he's a really good player as well, who they've got. So I just expect Everton to win that. Now, that could go horrendously wrong. I mean, the games I could slip up on, the Newcastle Villa game, probably going to slip up there. Where else? Chelsea, I've probably slipped up. Man U, I've probably slipped up. And Leeds, I think that's a fair shout saying Everton are going to win. But yeah, that's my game predictions for game week number 1. Obviously, in the next preview for game week number 2, we'll announce how many points I've got, and then we'll make the predictions. That's why this video is probably a little bit quicker than the next ones will be. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked, please do me a massive favour, like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.